So Isaac Dogboe stops Hidenori Otake in the first round. I am probably butchering that guy's name. I know it's Otake, but I cannot pronounce the first name. So if I'm saying it wrong, sorry. If I'm offending anyone, sorry. But let's get down to this fight, okay? Isaac Dogboe took this guy out relative ease. This Otake guy, I think a couple of years ago, went 12 rounds with Scott Quigg. I don't think he was on the canvas at all in that fight. He was down twice in this fight. I think the fight only went a little over 2 minutes. First knockdown was a great left hook by Isaac Dogboe. Isaac Dogboe is very short. Even by super bantamweight standards, he is very short. He's only about 5'2". I think he only has like a 65-inch reach. And you can see that very small, doesn't really jab. Kind of stays in the pocket, throws a lot of hard, thudding punches, throws a lot of hooks, uppercuts, load of body shots, likes the body shots. That's one thing I noticed when he fought Jesse Magdaleno, was that he was just ripping them body shots in. You know, he was staying in the pocket, staying at mid-range, and he was ripping body shots into Magdaleno when they fought. Up here, it was kind of more head-orientated he was doing to Otake. He dropped him with a great left hook after, I think, like a minute and 20 seconds or something that was gone in the first round. And, you know, Otake could have stayed down, but he got back up, and Isaac Dogboe went straight back in. Or Dogboe. I always call him Dogboe. I don't know why. It's Dogboe. And Dogboe went straight back in and put him down again. He only touched down with a glove the second time, but the referee quite rightly called it. He got back up, and Dogboe hit him with a couple of left hooks. Didn't go down, but he was definitely out of it. I mean, them legs were stiffening. I don't know how he didn't go down after the third barrage. But Otake stayed up. He did his thing. The referee jumped in and stopped it. It was a good stoppage because he was never going to win this fight. And, you know, if he hadn't have stopped it when he did, you know, he could have got seriously hurt. So, Isaac Dogboe, he's impressive. I mean, I never heard of him until they announced that he was fighting Jesse Magdaleno there back in April. Jesse Magdaleno I did hear of. I seen his fight with Donita Donaire, and I seen who was it he fought? The guy just fought Mick Conlan. De Silva or something his name was. He took him out in 2 rounds. And yeah, that guy, he just fought Mick Conlan there back last month. And I got my own thoughts on Mick Conlan. I'll do a video on that someday. I'm not biased because he's Irish. I'll go in on this guy. Don't really rate the guy, but that's not here or there. We'll get back to this, okay? So Isaac Dogboe, he's come out of nowhere. He's 23. He's from Ghana, but he trains. I think he trains in Miguel's gym in Brixton. So he'd be training kind of alongside Dylan White and, you know, Isaac Chamberlain, name a few. And one thing I noticed about guys who come out of Miguel's gym, and this is just something that I've noticed, is that a lot of the guys in Miguel's gym, they don't throw shots, I was going to say correctly. They throw the shots correctly, but they throw a lot of shots. They don't really sit down on the shots. You know, if you see Isaac Chamberlain, he doesn't really sit down on his shots. If you see Dylan White, he doesn't really sit down on his shots either. When he was with Jonathan Banks, he was sitting down on a lot of his shots. And I think he was in the Klitschko camp when he was with Jonathan Banks. Now he's with the Tibbs, and he doesn't throw a lot of his shots with full authority. I think when he fought Lucas Brown, he did, but prior to that, he wasn't really throwing with, you know, full punching power. So that's what I noticed a few guys from Miguel's gym do. They don't tend to throw them with, you know, full ferocity, or they don't tend to sit down as much on their shots. Dogboe sits down on all his shots. Like, he throws every shot with bad intentions. You can tell just by looking at this guy that he is looking to take your head off. Isaac Dogboe, he's in a division which I don't think at this minute is too strong. I mean, you have Rigondeaux if he comes back at super bantam, or he might go to featherweight because there's some big fights at featherweight, some big paydays. You have Gavin McDonald versus, what's the guy's name? Daniel Ramona or something, I think his name is. So you got that. Both those guys can't punch. I would pick Isaac Dogboe to beat either one of them. And I'm going to have to look up who the other 2 champions are because they both slipped my mind. The WBC... Who's the WBC? I probably look it up on BoxRec and be like, oh, I can't believe I missed that. But I'll have to look up who the IBF and WBC are. But right now at Super Bantam, I think Isaac Dogboe was the man to beat. I mean, he's took care of Jesse Magdaleno. He's took care of, you know, this guy, Otake. And, you know, he was talking in an interview with Steve Bunce on Box Nation that he was looking to move up through the weights. I can see that. He's very heavily muscled. Like, for a super bantamweight, he's very muscly. You see it even when he's cutting at the weigh-in. He's very muscly. But he's very short. That's the one thing. Like if he come up against the Rigondeaux, now Rigondeaux is short himself. Rigondeaux is taller than this guy and has a longer reach, which is not something that he's used to. So if someone like Dogboe came up against the Rigondeaux, or if he went to, we'll say, featherweight and came up against the Carl Frampton, I can see him having some issues, but he's just so ferocious. I mean, this guy just does not know. Just doesn't have an off button. That's why I like watching him. He just does not have an off button. He just keeps coming forward and he is looking to take you out. But good performance from Isaac Dogboe. Sorry that I haven't been able to upload lately. I'd fully planned on covering the Carl Frampton fight and the Tyson Fury fight. I'm going to put a video out on Tyson Fury now after this. The reason I didn't cover them fights was because I was at the fights. And by the time I got home, I couldn't actually, I have BT Sport, but I didn't record it. I didn't save it. And I actually couldn't find any of their videos on YouTube. So I just didn't bother doing any post fights on them. It's a bit late now. I'm not going to do them. I was at them. They were fun. It was a fun night. But I'm going to be doing a video on Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. This whole kind of, fight that I'm hoping is coming. And I'm going to do a video not long after this. So stay tuned. I have another video coming out. But thoughts on Isaac Dogboe. Looked fantastic. Done a better job than Scott Quick did. So there are my thoughts on him. I'm out.